Hello, welcome. I am Duane Jones, or Zach, or whatever you want to call me, really doesn't matter. We're here for the commentary of the new and improved Red Faction Impossible Difficulty Segmented Speedrun done by Goober. Goober's here. I also have Nick joining me, but let's talk to Goober first. Goober, say hello.
Hi, I'm Goober. I'm from Canada. I have been a mapper and some kind of a player in Red Faction since a little while after it was released back in '01. I've been speedrunning it off and on, I guess, for like a year and a half, 2 years, something like that.
I think it's actually 3. I saw it when I was taking the world record text off of my previous video last night. It was uploaded in 2015, so it's been like at least 3 years.
Oh shit, okay. Well, I guess it's been a little bit longer. So yeah, I've been speedrunning it for that time, but I've been involved in the game since before then. So yeah, that's me. Also, I'll add real quick. I did the majority of this run, but there were 2 segments that were done by Homard, another member of the RF speedrun community. So shout out to him. Thanks a lot. There's a credit for him at the end as well, so you'll see that. Also, his name will show in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen when his segments come up.
Sweet. And as we go along, and I'll get to that later. Let's talk to Nick. Nick was on the previous commentary for the other Impossible run, so you'll recognize his beautiful voice. Say hello, Nick.
Hey, it's Nick. I've never played this game.
All right, cool. And I guess we can get it going. I do want to say shout outs to the Red Faction Discord, shout outs to everybody that's ever found something in this game.
They're pretty much all used in this run.
Yeah, this is going to be, if you had seen the previous Impossible run that I did, there was very little, there was some abuse, some cool mechanics, some like a little bit of stuff I found. This run, what do you shave off, like 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's, I don't actually know how many milliseconds your run was, but ignoring the milliseconds on the run completely, it came down to be exactly 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, okay, so he shaved off 9.5 minutes, and there were strats that, and we'll talk about them as they come up. I actually have not watched this video in its entirety yet, so I'm the uninformed guy, so that'll be fun as we go along, and I see something going, what's that? And we can pause it, and then Goober can explain it to me, and thus explain it to everybody that's watching.
Yeah. Also, I'll say to everybody who is, Duane and Nick, by the way, like, pause. If you want to go over something, just pause, and we'll go over it.
Yep.
Sweet.
So yeah,
let's do it. Get started. Play.
Second work shift has ended.
Alright, so the first thing I'll say real quick while this is going on, first off, this room sucks, because it's really hard, but the first kind of trick in this run is right here, because the trigger, I'm going to actually pause for a sec, the trigger that makes that guard look at you, the guard right in front of you there right now, that I'm kind of circling with my mouse. The trigger that makes that guard look at you and start shooting at you is farther ahead on the side that I'm going into it on. So that has the effect that he doesn't look at me and shoot me until a bit later, which saves some damage.
Did I randomly just go that direction? No, I didn't? Okay.
No, you took more damage. I got out of this by taking 1 less bullet.
Yeah, in that room, how many times do you have to try that? Like a million?
It was probably over 100 segments, or so over 100 attempts. Also, you'll notice that for style points, I put on the silencer whenever I could in this game.
Well, and it's not just the silencer. Not just style. It actually makes the pistol more accurate.
Does it? I didn't actually realize. But
it doesn't.
Oh.
I've never played the game before, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly. One more thing I wanted to mention here. Running up hills in this game, if you jump when you're going up hills, it's actually slightly quicker, so you'll usually see me doing that. And actually, I'm just going to pause for a sec right before this water boost. The one other thing I wanted to say for that part of the game was back a little bit when I shot that guard in the face and there was another dude next to him, another guard next to him that had a baton. I purposefully didn't kill the guy with the baton, and you can actually hear him chasing me right now if you listen. You can hear his footsteps. That was purposeful because actually when I do this water boost right here, he dies at the exact same time I do the water boost, which gives me a much further boost. So I can, like, land on top of that rocket launcher almost.
That looks so good. Can we watch that again?
Yeah, sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really clean.
Ooh, and right onto the rocket ammo. Well, you hit the guy in the head. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Code red alert. In mine M4. Security level 2 response required.
Now, coming up here is the first instance of frame rate manipulation glitch in this run. It's also the first instance of a bounce, I think.
Code red emergency.
So, yeah, that was it right there. I'm just going to rewind first.
Security.
Yeah, and do a little more, go into detail there, because you've talked to me about that before.
Yeah.
That when you lower the game's, the actual game's frame rate, physics change?
Yeah, the game gets a lot more bouncy. I don't 100% know why, but you can bounce off shit a lot more when the game is at a lower frame rate. So at 30 FPS, which is the lowest that you can go in any of the like supported clients, like the de facto standard clients, the game is way more bouncy than it is at 150, which is the max. You can bounce at 150, it's just a lot easier at 30, and in that situation, like, I didn't even hit the button on the elevator, I just bounced off the little rail on it, and then went up into the conveyor belt. I'm actually just going to pause here for a sec, because there was one other thing I wanted to say on the elevator. It's actually not necessarily quicker to go that way, over by, like, the rock crusher with the conveyor belt, where I did the bounce up onto. But
is it just safe? Is it just safer?
It is a lot safer because the way that I think you went, I think actually you kind of like snaked around a little bit in that room.
I just went
damage or to avoid damage.
Right, I went straight through overall, but well, in those rooms, I would have to stop to shoot dudes so that I wouldn't die.
Yeah, and in all of the easy segmented runs, they just kind of go straight through the thing because you can not take any damage, well, barely any damage on easy. On impossible, that'll kill you. And so I timed it, and going the elevator route with the conveyor belt actually turned out to be exactly the same time. I think it was like 20 milliseconds in the difference or something like that, as long as you do the bounce. Because without the bounce, it's way slower. But with the bounce, it's safer and the exact same speed, so it worked out well.
Right, and I mean, at that point, like, being safer is also like a time save as far as you retaining health and armor
exactly
for later.
I actually don't take any damage at all after the first room up until after this big elevator up here.
Is there any trick coming up here? Or do I have like a minute or two to blather?
You got it. Well, I mean, the only thing there was crouch jumping over that little gap, but that was barely relevant. Yeah, you got some time.
Since for anybody that hasn't watched the previous commentary for the first run I did for this game, I do want to point out for sure that like the difference in difficulty between easy, normal, hard, and impossible is like exponentially more difficult than the other difficulties. Most of these things that you see here, obviously, you know, it's like, oh, that didn't look that hard or whatever, but it's very simple to just die in a room with 2 or more guards.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could, within 2 or 3 seconds, you just pop, and you're dead.
Yeah, well, I mean, you saw at the very beginning of the run in the very first room, I only took like 3 or 4 hits, but I went to like less than half my life.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, no,
the guards are. Oh, go ahead. I was going to say the guards are like more accurate and do way more damage.
They are, yeah. You also get less health from health pickups and less ammo from ammo pickups on impossible as well, which makes it way better.
Is armor the same?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Also, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure you take like more health damage compared to armor damage on impossible as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. So the one thing I wanted to say here real quick, that kind of color shift, which I'm going to pause again, but that kind of color shift, that's just because the fog settings are different between the map. You're going to see a couple of unclean cuts throughout this run. The majority of time, that's because the in-game level load screens are not super clean. Most of the segments that were done are pretty clean edits. So usually if you see something that doesn't look right, it is either one of the in-game, like between level loads, or it's something where a save load glitch was used to save time or to skip something. In some of those cases, because the game doesn't have any demo system, the video gets a little choppy. But yeah, so you might notice that. But what I wanted to mention about this here is that this is actually a completely new strat here where you tunnel under this door. I take a bit of damage in this area, but it doesn't really matter because I gain it back soon. So you actually tunnel under this door. I think that's like a 1.5 seconds quicker than going and pressing the button.
Yeah, that's great, and I couldn't do that in my run because I never picked up the rockets after the first water boost. I didn't realize that guy even dropped rockets.
Yeah. Actually, in this run, I use 100% of the rockets that I get before we get to Griffin's area.
This was another room that when I played, it just sucks because it's so easy to take so much damage from those guys.
It does suck. That's why I strategically only killed those 2 riot guards with the shotgun, because they deal way more damage than everyone else does, and then it's just kind of like hope and pray that the guards with the pistol don't hit you. That was also a hope and pray segment.
Yeah, RNG, like, let's see if that, whatever. Oh, that was a nice flame, little puff of flame on that guy.
Yeah, the flamethrower is the best weapon in the game.
Because it deals damage, and this is all stuff I've learned from you over the years. Like, it deals damage on, like, per frame, right?
Yep. So at 150 FPS, which most of the run is at. I'm just gonna pause there because we got to explain that tunnel. But yeah, at the most of the run is at 150 FPS, and the higher your frame rate is, and 150 is the max for any of the like standard clients. The higher your FPS is, the more damage that the flamethrower does. So you can just kind of tap the flamethrower, and it'll basically ignite any enemy that can be ignited. So everything except the robots. Yeah, so the other thing here to note is that this coming up here is, I think, well, actually, no, it's the second one because of that that one a second ago where I said I saved like a second and a half. This here is the next instance of of using Geomod for a skip. This one actually saves a ton of time. And I say one, it's actually 3 different ones. So you shoot 1 rocket there, you can get there. That's really hard, it takes a lot of segments. You go down here. I think I took 1 shot of damage there, but it's no big deal. And that was actually the first reload and fire weight skips there.
So if it looks weird and if it looks weird and chunky, it's because you can like save, right? You save right after you start reloading, and then as soon as the game counts that you've reloaded the weapon, you can like save load, and you'll be ready to fire again right away.
You can skip the rest of the animation. You can also skip, like, you know, when you, like, hold down the fire button, there's a wait before you can shoot again. You can completely skip that wait if you just fire, then immediately save, and then load, and fire again. The problem is, with rockets specifically, you can only have 2 rockets in the air at once, otherwise the last one doesn't do geo. So I can't fire that, like, super, super quick, but it was still pretty quick. Like, it was quicker than just firing normally. So, and that was another, I guess that was the first instance of using a save load glitch to save time, which leads to some visual weird things because the game doesn't have demos, so like the particles disappear when I load in. So just be aware of that if you see something that's like an unclean cut. Like later in the tunnel skip, there's a lot of that, and it looks really ugly, but it's way quicker to do it that way.
And also the RNG on getting those particular geo meshes, right? There's like 6 different holes that can be created.
Yeah, I think it's 9 actually, but yeah.
9.
Stop right there!
That was another room that took a lot of segments to get through without taking a shitload of damage.
You're gonna die! Oh.
Code yellow alert. Intruder in registration medical facility. Intruders in docking bay 2. Security to docking bay 2.
You might have noticed that the game looks a little jumpy at this part, and that's because I found that if you if you do this part at 30 FPS, which is what I'm doing, it's like, I think it's like half a second quicker than doing it at full frames. Just because the entire sequence is like 15 seconds long or something like that, so it comes out to be like, yeah, it saves a little bit of time. And then I go back up to 150 after I exit the room.
Drop! You're...
Security breach in geothermal plant
I
number
love how
4.
you just like don't
Additional
actually have to
units
go
requested.
unlock that door like you think you do.
Yeah.
This skip was crazy.
Yeah, this out of bounds skip is nuts.
That was found, I forget his name. Somebody commented on one of my YouTube videos.
Additional units
and was
requested.
like, hey, have you ever seen this? I was like, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it either before then, but it is really cool. The reason why I wanted to go back there is because, actually I'll just play it. The reason why I wanted to go back there is because I actually did a fall damage reduction glitch when I was jumping back from that out of bounds skip. I landed on the little like slanted edge, and I only went down to 76. Landing just hard on the floor, you went down to like 30, which sucks, but it's also a pretty big problem because like right after I resumed this video here, you'll see probably the biggest time save for a fall damage reduction in the run. So basically, like, if you hit this here on the edge there, you take way less damage than if you do if you just land up at the top.
Crazy physics.
Yeah, and that's, I think in your run, you, like, let the lift go down a little bit before you jump down because you didn't want to take all that damage.
Yeah,
But
I
if you
just
land on the
landed
edge,
straight
then
on
you
the
don't
ground.
die. Yeah.
High-level RF physics manipulation.
Yep. I really like this segment because I bounce off that scientist's head.
Yeah, all sorts of bouncing around, skipping that door.
Yeah, this whole section is a lot cleaner than the previous run. And I think this is totally new, right?
No, some of the sickle segment runners have been doing that, but yeah.
Oh, because they don't need as many. Yeah, and I knew that like you found that way to skip that area back when I was working on the original run. I just didn't have enough rockets to do it.
Yeah,
Because I never picked up those rockets.
Exactly. Actually, hang on. I want to go back here for a sec. The reason why I wanted to go back here is because this here is actually a little bit quicker than waiting for that door to open. But the big reason why I had to go into that room and bounce off the scientist's head was because you picked up like 8 rockets out of that little crate that I jumped back to get. And I need those rockets to be able to do all of the new geoskips that we found to use before the Griffin area. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do like half of them. Like, I probably would have actually had to kill that big robot if it wasn't for those extra rockets I found in that room.
What are you doing here? You're gonna just catch the ladder like a
All
boss?
non-security personnel
I just thought that looked
are
cool,
required
and
to
there was
return
nothing
to
to
their
do there
barracks
anyway.
for the duration of the disturbances.
Again, to all the people watching, I have not seen any of this.
Look at that, taking no fall damage.
Oh, that was sick.
Yeah, that was another thing where if you bounce off the roof, then it kind of just kills your velocity, so you don't take any fall damage.
And let's see, I don't remember. Oh yeah, you do weird bouncy stuff here.
Yep. That was actually also a fall damage cancellation right there when I did the second jump. Didn't take any damage there.
Okay, so I tried forever to just bounce up onto that ledge from the wall. And never could. Is that a 30 FPS thing, or are you just better at the game than me?
It's a 30 FPS thing, and it's a one of those situations where... I'm just going to pause here because I got to talk about a
Goober
geoskip in a
played
sec.
run maps for 10 years.
That's the thing. It's a situation of I played run maps for a long time, so I knew that it was possible because I had done that sort of... I think it's even technically possible on 150 FPS, it's just way harder. But I knew it was possible, so it was just a matter of, 1, reducing the FPS so it was easier, and 2, just trying it enough. Because once I knew it was possible, I just like tried it like 50 times until I got it. And 1, that saves a lot of damage because one of the other options was to water boost off the bottom there, but you take a lot of damage doing that. And 2, it saves rockets. And like I said, this is like perfect on the amount of rockets available and the amount of rockets used before the Griffin segment, so I couldn't spare a rocket. And another one, part of the reason why I couldn't spare a rocket is because this is brand new here. I don't know if anybody else has used this. But you can fire a rocket up there, and then you can jump down here. I also did a fall damage cancellation bug there, so that I didn't take any damage when I fell down into that vent. Normally, you'd take like
That's
half your health there.
ridiculous. That's such a crazy skip.
But I don't think you use the fan glitch here.
I didn't, no.
He does not.
Because I go out a different pipe than you did.
Oh, right.
Move in!
Wait, are you sure? Pretty sure it's the same
Yeah.
pipe.
No, you went out the other pipe there, like... The pipe that like is in front of the camera right there, that was the one that you came out.
But isn't that
because
the
I
same
skipped
one?
an entire map here compared to what you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, also, I'll just mention, back there, all the guards were kind of just staring ahead. That's because there's a glitch with their pathing, where if you segment, like, right before you go into that room...
This is the same one, because you come out right there.
Yeah, no, it goes to the same place. You just don't go into the like,
I
fan
think
chamber.
I think
in the
there's
same place.
2 entries.
There are.
Oh, okay, okay.
Just the way that I went is supposed to be way longer, but because I found that geo skip and the fall damage cancel, I could get in there faster and skip an entire map.
Right. But you still could have done the fan out of bounds, so it would have.
Could have, it just didn't help because the fan was going the other way.
We're definitely coming up on the longest section.
All miners report to the nearest
The biggest
fire
skip.
station. You will not be harmed.
Stop right.
Okay, so yeah, up ahead here, there's a, well, I'll just... so the first thing is there's a geo here to jump into the later part of the thing, and I use these 2 rockets to kill these guards. The reason for that...
Let's pause before we hit it.
Okay, I'll pause. The reason I had to kill those guards is because we're about to spend a little bit of time kind of ramming our head into this door, and if I didn't kill those guards the way that I did, those guards come up behind me and kill me. The rest of the guards on the rest of the map kind of don't care about you, but those guards specifically come up and kill you, so I had to use one of the rockets to kill them. I think that's probably the only part in this run where I use rockets to kill enemies, not to geo.
Yeah, and this skip, who found this? I forget. Was it Homard?
I think it was Homard, but if you're listening and it was not Homard and it was you, don't yell at me. I'm pretty sure it was Homard, though. And basically, he had found this glitch where if you go up, if you like press your body up against the door and you quick save, quick load, every load you move, or the door moves forward and you move forward, and then eventually the door stops moving and you move through the door. But this is definitely the biggest time commitment in real world time in this run. I think it took me like 8 different videos to get through the entire door because I had to save load like literally 800 times.
So you're like holding W, pressing your face into the door,
Well, let's
and
just
just going.
Yeah, you're going forward, and you're quick save, quick loading repeatedly, and yeah.
And this happens.
And this happens. Like, the door goes forward, and then you glitch out of the map, and then if you keep going, you glitch through the door. And bam. That is probably the biggest single time save in this run. That saved, like, I think it was like 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah, it makes the geothermal plant just disappear. And I will say, here's a little, I'm going to take a little aside here and say that in a perfect world, I would have helped way more with this run. Goober was very open to be like, hey man, when do you want to get some segments in? When do you want to do this? And I just, my chronic laziness, I never was able to actually bring myself to do stuff, which is fine because he did it great. And there's no way I could have done anything better. But I did. My only credit in this run was editing those segments there for that door. And I'll have the people know that was, what was the number? 896?
I think it was 817, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It was over
800. We'll just say, yeah, that it was 800, at least 800 individual frame segments. So I edited that. That's my contribution to here. We could move forward.
And thank you, because that would have taken, well, it took you forever, but it would have taken me even longer.
Yeah, well, I mean, it took me like 3 weeks to actually sit down and do it. And then when I did it, it took me like 3 days of sitting down for like 2 hours at a time.
Exactly. So I'll also notice I holstered the weapon during that just because it looked really bad if I did. But up here, this is kind of exactly the same as the quickest single segment run right now. You avoid taking any damage to that rocket if you fire the rocket inside the corner of that little room. So like you can get up right next to it, and in this game you don't take damage to splash weapons unless you have line of sight to it, to the actual source of the explosion. So I can jump right through the geo hole, but because the actual damage was on the other side of the wall, I don't take any damage. I hate this big whale thing.
I hate that you have to kill it.
Dude. The whale's great.
He actually only needed to use 1 torpedo on it, but I used 2 because he pissed me off, so I wanted to see him more dead.
Dude, what did that whale do besides get in the way?
Well, you get stuck on him.
You know,
I'd just go right past him if you didn't.
You know, we have limits on whaling, right? I like how this ship shoots
Not on
the
Mars.
tube here.
Yeah, that's because I went low enough so that he didn't hit me. It's because I didn't want to kill him because that... Yeah, I didn't want to kill him And I think if he had hit me one more time, I probably would have died. So I avoided taking damage that way.
Oh, we're gonna see some more flamethrower little poofs.
Yep. Also jumped down that ladder. So yeah, and like hit the ladder at the bottom, so I didn't take fall damage.
I love the sound of the flamethrower. Just little psst, like poof, poof.
Yep.
So
Oh,
it's
also,
like they sampled a hairspray can.
it probably did. I'll also note there that I saved a bit of time there because I let the guard open the door for me before I killed him, rather than having to go up to the door and wait for it to open.
Entry to this area. Access denied.
Keep it holstered.
Also, you take damage when flaming corpses are on the floor under you, but you only take damage to armor, and I was about to lose all my armor when I went in there anyway. I gotta roll one. You can talk, though.
I think in the last commentary, we were under the impression that this section doesn't actually function in terms of game mechanics. We thought it was, like, fake. But it actually does, apparently. Like, the stealth mechanics actually do work.
Yeah, it's really rudimentary, but they do kind of work. The guards get spooked if you go like near them and you're in front of them, and I was actually wrong in what I said in the last commentary. The cameras do work. It's really simple. They just have like a cone of view, and if they see you, it sounds the alarm, but they do work. So I was wrong on that last time, and it really bit me when I started trying to do this. So the first thing I want to mention about this Griffin segment is, I'm just going to play this. So I jump into that guard, and you're probably wondering why. It's because I'm going to sound the alarm when I go past this guard anyway, but if I jump into his head when I pass it, I think he gets afraid of me, and he runs back. Like, he runs back the way that I came, which means that it takes him longer to shoot at me, so he ends up not hitting me until I get around the wall. Every other time that I tried that, if I just kind of walked past him, which is technically quicker by like 2 frames, he turns around and shoots me, and I take a ton of damage. Also, coming up here, this is the first instance of the crosshair push. That guard that I just looked at shot me every segment that I didn't turn and look at him first.
You didn't believe me. You didn't believe me. You thought I was crazy.
I did.
Additional units requested.
I was like, I swear, like their guards will react to where I'm aiming. I swear there's times where like as I'm trying to aim at them, they're running away laughing like ha ha ha.
You're right, I didn't believe you. You were right. Oh sorry, there's one more thing I need to mention here. So when I'm coming up here, you notice that guard just kind of runs out and just stands still? That's because of the place that I segmented. That's another AI pathing cancellation glitch. So I just basically canceled his routine. Also, the other thing I want to mention about this section is this is the first instance of a load warp in this run. So essentially you go into this elevator, you hit the button, and then you run out, and you appear at the equivalent in the next map to where you were when you went into the elevator.
And
because
that
it's a
guard is
delay.
stuck in the stairs.
Yeah, because it pulled that guard
poor
from the
guy.
previous map.
Rip.
I can't believe that no one found that stuff sooner. Like just the idea of like, hey, what if I get in this elevator and run out the door?
It's really important that you don't hit that Roomba there, because it does 3,000 damage.
No, it doesn't.
Oh yeah, that was a run killer, man. When I was doing this. No, seriously, is it just as simple to do those load warps? Is it just as simple as like you go into the elevator, hit the button, and then run out?
Kind of. Yes, it is that simple, but to get into the elevator, you need to save load previously in the map, because basically the elevator door status toggles every time you load. So the first time you load into the map, the elevator is open. So you just run into it, you don't have time to get back out. But if you save load when you're in the map, then the elevator closes, so you can press the button on the outside, get in, press the button, and then you can get out before the door closes. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes. Like once the door is if you're approaching the elevator with its door closed, you open it, get in, hit the button to close it, and run out.
And then just run out, yeah. Yeah, and then it's just down to predicting where you are after the level load delay is gonna put you in the next map. Like in this one right here. In this one right here, I kind of ran out there and I turned to the right a little bit because I knew that there was a hallway there in the next map.
Sweet.
Now, the reason why I rewinded here, because I wanted to say, look up here. I'm circling with the mouse. You can see that on the stream, or on the video, but you can't see that, Duane and Nick. But that little camera up there, it's got a red light on it. Just keep watching that.
Security breach in administration.
Oh, well, actually, you couldn't see that one, but you could see the other camera right in front of you.
Security breach.
The camera, like, right in front of the screen there. See, the light turns to green. That's because, like, literally, like, probably 1 in 10 times that you load the game when you segment where I did, I found this completely by accident, by the way, the alarm just turns off. So I can just walk past the elite guards and they don't shoot me, even though I just killed a bunch of their friends in the previous map.
It's about as good as real-life alarm systems.
Yeah, they 1 in 10 times they just don't
Excuse
work.
me, sir.
Stop!
There you
Don't
go.
shoot. I can help you.
So
This cutscene blows.
Deputy Administrator.
we still watch the whole
Yes.
thing. There's no way
I
to.
need your help. I'm the one with the gun.
Yes, this is the first cutscene in the game. I'm playing it at 30 FPS. All the cutscenes in the game that I had to go through are at 30 FPS because they're slightly quicker than any other frame rate. But you actually have to go through this one. You actually can skip this cutscene. I did. The problem is, progressing to the next map is dependent on Griffin getting to a very specific spot in this map, and he never gets up from his desk and walks there unless you go through the cutscene.
Oh well, that could be a problem.
Yeah, so like you can get there, but the door, like you soft lock your game if you do that,
And you'll be the first to die.
which really sucked.
That gun
I would have
away.
loved to have skipped this.
If the guards see you with it, we're both dead.
You lead the way.
Hey, this is my
Security
lucky day.
Bam, jumped over that elite's head.
Where'd you get the pistol? Oh, you had the pistol. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, Orion gave me that when he took all my other weapons.
Yeah. And you did a much better job of like finding the triggers to lead Griffin around.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it looks like I paused there, and also you might be wondering why I kind of backtrack when I jumped over that thing. But that's because I was hitting a very specific trigger that made him move, so he came up to meet me quicker.
Stay here. I'll wave us in.
This is
Yeah, is
another
this a skip?
cutscene that you can't skip.
Oh, okay.
No. I actually
Once we get
tried
to-
to
once
skip
we get
this,
to-
but I got stuck in the floor at the end.
Once we get to one that you skip, you're gonna have to explain that to me.
Oh,
'Cause
I'm going to, yeah.
I still have no idea how that stuff works. You've
It's
explained
going
it
to
to me
come up here in a
before.
sec.
Yeah, no idea.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna back up real quick. So this is the first, and actually I think the only force field skip in this run. You had 2 in yours, but there's only 1 in this. And the force field skip, just for anyone who hasn't seen the previous run, basically works the exact same way as the water boost, which I'm not sure if we actually explained the first time, so here goes. Basically, the water boost and the force field skip, if you save your game immediately when you hit it and start taking damage in the case of the force field, or hear a splash in the case of the water, and then load, you get a boost. In the case of the water, you boost out of the water. In the case of the force field, you boost through the force field. So you avoid pretty much all of this map that we're in right now, because you normally have to go like around in this little like factory thing and hit a switch to turn off the force field. But if you just jump through it, you take some damage as long as you do the force field skip properly. That was actually found by Digi, who did a lot for this game as well. Was supposed to be on this run, but or this commentary, but couldn't make it. So. Shout out. But yeah, so I just wanted to explain that force field skip. There's a bunch going on in this next section that I need to explain. First thing, when you kill that guard there, Griffin moves up to his position, which is why I waited a little bit. And then right now, when you jump up there, Griffin moves up to open the door for you.
Looking good, looking good.
Before this cutscene skip, I wanted to mention one thing though. Back here, there's actually grenades right down below there that you need to use in the next segment. The reason why I jumped up on top of that crate there was because I didn't want to pick those up, because I'm about to do a cutscene skip, and in this game, when you do a cutscene skip, your health and armor both go back to 100, and you lose all your weapons. So I couldn't pick up the grenades because I need to use them after the cutscene skip, so I needed to jump up there so I didn't get the grenades. And here's our cutscene skip. Now, Duane, you want me to explain that?
Yeah, I still don't.
Okay.
Yeah, makes no sense to me.
So it's really stupid, and it's really dumb that it works the way it does. I'm just going to pause there, because there's other stuff to explain in a sec.
Here's let's do this. How about you tell me what you do to make it happen? first, and then explain why those things work.
Okay, so what you do to make it happen, you need to hit the quick save button on the exact frame that the cutscene starts. Then, if you load that quick save, you will be teleported. Well, first off, you will lose all your weapons. You will go to 100 health and armor, and you will basically respawn at the designated player start point in the map. Now, for most maps, that's where you enter the map, like just progressing through the game normally. In some, it's not, and we'll talk about that later, because there's a way that I use that to skip some time. But in most cases, it's where you would normally be in the game anyway. So that's what you do. The reason that works is because when you quick save the same frame that the cutscene starts, the game doesn't know your player's location. So when you reload that save file, you get a spawn error because the game doesn't know where to put you when it loads the game. So it basically respawns your player back at the player start position in the map.
That is ridiculous. And who found that? Was that homard also?
I believe that was homard, yes. There was a Russian guy who, or actually, he might have been Ukrainian. I can't remember where he's from, but there was a guy who did the quickest easy segmented run currently, who also used the cutscene skips. And I think he used more of them than homard did, but I'm pretty sure homard was the one who originally found it.
It's ridiculous. We were trying for years to figure out how to do that.
Yep, and yeah, all it took was some messing around. So there's really nothing to that. Like the death. The only thing that I'll mention about that area is the trigger that is around Griffin has a delay on it, and when you load in, it cancels the delay, basically resets the delay time. So if you save load after the delay, he'll activate quicker and he'll move quicker.
It sure looked cool as far as like running in that room, just like throwing grenades. I gotta break it down.
Okay, so I have to pause here because this is a really stupid thing that doesn't technically save time, but it one, it's kind of neat, and two, it avoids me taking damage. So if you look here, you see that I'm not sure how well you can see it, but I think I'm just going to do this just by frame. Just one second.
You do it. You show the people.
You see that little coffee mug there outside of the elevator? I shoot that here, and I kill it. The reason for that... I'm just going to pause here again. So that... I'm circling him on my screen here. That guard down there has a rocket launcher. He is scripted to shoot that coffee mug with his rocket launcher while you're going down this elevator. But if you destroy the coffee mug before he gets a chance to, he gets confused and doesn't shoot at you until you're already in the fighter.
And that's just to like an idea of like scripting the game, like, oh, as you come down this elevator, we want this guy to shoot a rocket at you, but not like actually hit you.
Yeah, you just wanted to scare you a little bit.
So they make his target a coffee mug.
They probably had to put something in the map to have it target.
That's great.
So they used a coffee mug
for some thematic combat.
That has Volition's logo on it.
Nice.
That's so great. That Azir segment, I just want to pause because I want to talk about the fight, but that Azir segment sucked. I had to do that so many times to get a really quick time because controlling Azir velocity is really important and it's really floaty. So what I had to do a lot of the time was I had to like over-aim just so I could kind of like arc myself around obstacles. Because if you hit anything in the Azir, you slow down to a crawl. So like I had to go through the entire thing like routing around objects and not hitting anything.
Yeah, piloting these here is like driving a little like radio controlled car like in mud.
Basically, yes.
Like it's suspended in mud, not just like the tires are on mud. Like if you can imagine, yeah, this is a terrible analogy.
Good enough, whatever. Yeah, so this up here, this combat, you'll notice some kind of like visual, like right there, and there's another one coming up here now in a second. That's because I'm save load glitching to skip the death animations on those guards. Because the way that this canyon is scripted is 4 of those guards need to die before it spawns the 5th one, and when all of them are dead, you can go into the cutscene. So I save loaded after I killed them to skip their death animation, so that the thing that happened when the death animation finished triggered quicker. Now, the reason why I pause here is because this is another load warp here. So you just kind of walk into this, and then yeah, you skip down there.
Saves you a little, just like a little scotch
Yeah,
of
saves,
time.
saves you a little bit because you don't have to go out that door.
And I think
And
this
you're
time you
doing this-
actually finally figured out the complete mechanics of the tank bot, right?
Yeah, I did. It's still a little bit inconsistent because the AI in this game sucks, but yeah, I figured out basically all of the logic for how it works. And you have to deal a very specific amount of damage to it, which I dealt exactly the right amount to it. And before he, I just pause here because I got to explain this cutscene skip. But yeah, you have to deal a very specific amount of damage to him before the nav point that is above the pit is activated, and he can chase you down there. If you kind of move back too far before that's active, he'll kind of like go in another direction, and then it takes way longer. But if you deal the exact right amount of damage to him and don't die, which is really difficult, not impossible, that's why I pulled out the shield because it saved me some damage. Then you can kind of route him really quickly. It's still kind of random because he's still buggy as fuck and just decides to go off in weird directions sometimes, but still. So this is the second of 3 cutscene skips in the game. I'm kind of standing above the pit there because I need the pit door to stay open for when I do this jump here.
And we'll standing by it keep it open.
Yeah, it keeps it open.
Wow, that's I can't like. I should be talking more because this game is so much more broken now that they've the cutscene skips have been found, and like these you're silly changing the APS to reduce fall damage and hitting corners.
Yeah, I hit the corner there to greatly reduce the fall damage I take. One thing you're going to notice about this section right here, I'm going to do another, it's not actually a cutscene, well there is actually a cutscene skip, but there's another skip. I don't really care how well this combat goes. I don't care how many bullets I fire. I don't care how much health I go to as long as I don't die, because it's going to get reset in a second anyway. So I'm just kind of doing this as quickly as I can, and I don't really care what happens as long as I don't die.
Just holding W and going forward, because like
Yes.
that's the main strat for easy runs, right? Just hold W.
Yes. Now, the reason why I paused here is because this is a pretty major diversion from your last Impossible run. This is, to the best of my knowledge, something that was discovered by the Russian guy who has the current easy segmented title. But there's a lot of shit that's about to happen. The first thing was what he discovered, which is if you go into this elevator here and you do it right, you can go outside the map.
What? What? What was that?
I'm just going to play the whole thing, and then I'll explain it once.
That's ridiculous. What? That's stupid. I got food in
Right
my
in the
mouth
dick.
because I thought I've never seen that before.
So there's a lot of shit going on here. So if you do that, you can go outside the map. You can like kind of clip through the ceiling when the elevator's pushing you up. It pushes you outside the map, which is weird because that usually kills you, but it doesn't in this instance. When you're out of the map, if you save the game when you're out of the map, same thing as the cutscene skip. Game doesn't know where you are when it goes to load you, so it puts you at the player start position. Remember I said that sometimes it's not where you would expect it to be? In this map, the player start position is right where I am right now. It's right next to this guy's office. So...
Well, okay, so how does that work? If, like, why is the player start position there? If then why is it when you start the map, are you somewhere else? Why?
Because when
I
you
don't get
actually when you are progressing through the game, you don't go to the player start. It's not like what's called a hard level load, which is what would put you at the player start. You
Okay.
just kind of basically go where you are proportionally to where you were in the last map. There's a room
So-
in every map that exists in both the current map and the future map. In this case,
Yeah.
it was that hallway, and that's how you progress through the game. You never actually care where the player start is, except for a couple very specific situations where the game puts you to that position. But because the player start in this map happens to be up here, which isn't usually relevant, if you find a way
But
to
it is
save the
because
game,
it's in a cool place. Yeah.
that's the thing. If you find a way to save the game in a location where if you find the way to save the game where your player location is in an invalid location, when you load the game, it'll put you to the player start position.
And that's like the only way to get to this player start position in single player.
Normally, yes.
It's not like oh, if you die and it like, oh, this is the player spawn point. Like if you die, you just die. It doesn't like reset.
Yep. No.
You
the
have to
only
be
way,
in an inaddressable position.
as far as I know, the only way to do it, at least as of right now, this video is going to be up for a while, so it's possible by the time you're listening to this that somebody has figured out something else that's broken. But Right now, the only way I know of is if you can save in a position where your player location, your player character location is invalid. When you load, it'll put you there. And there are a couple of very specific maps where the level load puts you to the default position. There's like one like where the space station happens. There's a couple other ones.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Can we see that another time or two just because it's so great?
Yeah, there you go.
Game's over.
Oh, it's so stupid.
The other thing I wanted to mention there was another thing that I don't think the Russian guy did.
Security.
I kind of like.
Wait, are you
jumped into-
assuming gender here?
Sorry, no, I'm not.
That was a bad joke. Bad joke.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry.
Yeah, so when I go into his office, I jump into him and I bounce off of him. That's because I jump into him after I kill him. So I'm jumping into his death animation playing. Pause here because I gotta explain this after. But I jump into him while his death animation's playing and I bounce off of him. The reason why I do that is because I kill him, then I jump into him. As soon as I hit him, I hit the save button. I do that because when I load, I skip his death animation and the trigger is active. So basically I load, I immediately
unlock the
jam
door.
the use key. Exactly. So it saves like half a second off of waiting for his death animation to play. And then you just basically go out and down this elevator after shooting that guy in the face. This is another out-of-bounds skip for the elevator, followed by a cutscene skip. So it kind of happens very quickly, but we'll just play it.
Beautiful.
You're
Stupid. This is stupid.
Yeah, absolutely stupid. This is the part of the game after that cutscene skip where I actually start caring about my life and about my ammo, because this is the part of the game where you hang on to your ammo for the longest time. So I actually really have to conserve even 12 mil ammo here, because I need it for the SMG. So basically what's going on here is I need to kill this little Reaper, this little baby Reaper, because otherwise he deals a massive amount of damage to you. Same thing with this dude. I go right here because there's a trigger there that spawns a guard with a rocket launcher that I need. You need to kill that Reaper and those two guards because otherwise you die. I need to kill this guard. It took me a while to kill him, but it doesn't matter. He's in a fear state. He's not shooting me. That rocket launcher guard right there. So I need that rocket launcher.
Fortunately, you don't have to kill the bat thing.
Yeah, you don't need to kill the bat. So I'm just going to talk about that jump in a sec, but I just wanted to say why I needed the rocket so much. So from this point until basically the mercs come in, I need to be conserving as many rockets as I possibly can, because I need to use rockets as many as I can on the tunnel skip right after the Capek fight, because that saves probably the most amount of time in the entire game. So I need to conserve as many rockets as I can. There's 6 rockets that spawn on this guard right here. That was the reason why I needed to go into that spawn trigger next to the couple of Reapers. So, Duane, I think in your run you used a rocket launcher that you got back at the tank bot fight to like go around the outside here.
Yep, I would geo the wall. Yeah, I would just run out there, geo the wall, and then jump into my geos and jump across that chasm.
Yeah, and the reason we can't do that is because we actually don't have a rocket launcher at this point, because the cutscene skips and everything strip your weapons. So we couldn't have picked them up back then, because otherwise we would have had to sit through cutscenes, and that takes forever. So it saves a lot more time this way.
Gotta go fast.
Exactly. So that's why I need to do some weird routing here, specifically to get rockets and nothing else. So I needed to make that rocket launcher guard spawn, kill him, take his rockets. Then I need to jump across this chasm here. I managed to do it with only 1 rocket. This was really hard and took a long time, but I managed to jump across that with only 1 rocket.
And then kind of bounce your way out of the hole.
Yeah, exactly.
What's with that sweet 180? What's the 180 for?
That actually... and this is... I need to kill another rocket launcher guard to get another rocket launcher. I'm going to pause here and just explain that. So yeah, the 180 was because in that segment, actually, Capek is chasing you. You're like, you can see him ahead of you there, but because I jumped across that chasm so quickly, I'm actually ahead of Capek. So he's chasing me, which is why I turned around to see him, but he actually wasn't there in the segment I ended up using, which kind of sucked.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
It's just some swag. Just like, ooh, little 180.
Yeah, exactly. So coming up here is one of the brand new things in this run. It is a 30 FPS bounce combined with a water boost that I don't think anybody else has done a water boost at this section. But I'm just going to play this and see. I reduce the 30 FPS, I jump up on this wall, I bounce to get some air so that I can water boost up there.
And then Capek disappears. Whoa.
Spooky
That's it.
Capek.
Game's over.
Yeah,
This here-
That is some spooky.
That AI just kind of stops moving if you save and load while you're in midair, which is really funny. And then I bounce off one of the Reapers so that I don't take as much fall damage when I jump down.
And your route here is more direct, like okay, I wasn't entirely honest when I said I haven't seen any of this. I haven't seen most of it, but I have seen this part in the past.
Yeah.
So he's gonna skip going to that cool fusion room and just go straight here.
And I'm going to do a water boost here to avoid all that fall damage and to not have to walk through the water, which is really, really slow. Yeah, the fusion room, I think, Duane, you use to get health and armor and to get a fusion that you used at Capek, but I got around Capek without the fusion, so I didn't need to take that detour.
What? Oh, I'm excited because I don't know how you did that.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, and that segment was really annoying because I'm just going to rewind there to show that.
You had
This
to do
segment's-
actual skilled combat.
Yeah, this segment's really annoying because all of the shotgun pellets have to hit those things for it to kill them, and you can't go through this door. Like, that trigger's not active until all those robots are dead. And the green thing that they fire kills you in one shot with the health and armor that I had. So I had to dodge all three of them and one shot kill them with the shotgun. So I need to get close enough to do that before it would work. Which really, really sucked.
And then there's that poor guy that was in front of you a second ago, running but going nowhere. It's like a metaphor for my life. He's just running, but he's not going anywhere.
So I'll just add, a second ago, during that pause, that was, I took that opportunity to reload all my weapons, and that's because basically all of the pause time I have after this point I use for duplicating remote charges. Which I had to geo through the opposite side of that door to what most people do because I needed to grab those remote charges.
Wait, I didn't even see you reload your weapons. Am I just dumb? Am I not paying close enough attention? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, like one of your weapons.
No, I reload a bunch more, too. Oh, I did. Sorry, I did a few seconds ago. I'm not going to go all the way back because it's
Okay,
no point,
yeah.
but I reloaded all my weapons. Anyway, I jump back here, I pick up these remote charges, and then I'm going to be duplicating these for a lot of the run. Actually, don't even need to use them all, but I have them in case I do. And basically, the remote charge duplication glitch is just like, if you throw the remote charge on a surface, and then you press your use key on it, you pick up two. I have no idea why, but yeah, you can duplicate remote charges that way.
Is that a PF artifact, or is that in the original game?
I'm pretty sure it was in the original game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you could always pick them up, but
That there, I took a little detour because I wanted that guy's grenades. Because grenades are useful, not even for Geomod, which is what a lot of people use them for, but they're really useful for putting guards into fear states. And guards don't shoot you when they're afraid, and they run away, so...
Yeah, they're too busy
useful.
going, "Don't hurt me!
Yeah.
Don't shoot!"
You're dead, traitor. Anyway, yeah, so I killed these two guards, and this is Homard's part. You can see his name down there, so I couldn't get this water boost to work, and he was awesome at it, so he did this water boost. So,
Which is so dumb, because like I was trying that water when you were having problems with that. I tried it. That used to be like the easiest one, and none of us could get it. We don't know why.
I have no idea why we couldn't, but he could, and he's always been able to do it. And Duane used to be, and I used to be, but neither of us could anymore. And he could, so he did that segment. Thanks a lot to him for that.
Yeah,
you
if
can
want
see
to talk
me.
more about the crazy water boost garbage. We're not going to do that here.
Yeah, no. Join our Discord. Join the Red Faction Speedrun community Discord, which I'll put a link to down in the description if you want to debate stupid water boost bullshit, or talk
now-
about
yeah.
fun things with our friends.
Yep, and now Goober's he was about to say it, so I'll pick it up for him. He's duping demo packs,
Yeah, I'm duping.
throwing them on the
tricks.
ground, picking them up, 2 for 1. It's a great deal.
Now, I paused here for a very specific reason. So, you're going to see me go past this snake, and he's going to hit me, because you can see the damage indicator on the left-hand side of my screen. Now, why didn't I die? No, I'm not cheating. You're actually invulnerable when you fall out of that tunnel. The game makes you invulnerable so you can fall out of that tunnel. And the vulnerability lasts for, I think it's like 3 seconds or something. So if you can get to the snake and make him hit you while you're still invulnerable, you can then walk past him, because he can only hit you every so often.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
that like
invulnerable for
inadvertently, I think lots of people have been doing that anyway.
that. Probably, but
Just because as speedrunning, you just you come out and you just let's go.
Exactly, but like my point is like usually you don't think like the best way to do this and not take damage is to go as close as I can to this big snake thing.
Yeah, it was
But
great.
if you get close to him quicker, he hits you sooner and you don't die, and then you're away from him before he has a chance to hit you again. The reason why I wanted to pause here is because this is probably one of the biggest parts where fall damage cancellation is evident and important.
Okay, I noticed that before. This is cancellation. It's not just that you landed on a slope.
Nope, I landed on a sloped face, which like glitches me into the brush, and then I don't take any fall damage because it resets my velocity.
So you did you have to do like some saves and loads there? Or
No.
Just land correctly.
Nope, just land correctly and glitch properly.
Okay.
And the only reason I went down there again, normally I'd go through the front door, but I needed that guard's rocket launcher, or yeah, I needed his rocket.
I'm on your side.
There's a neat little trick here where I save loaded there and pause those guards. Normally they run ahead and they're harder to kill, but now they don't turn and aim at me until I start shooting them because of that glitch.
I'm unarmed.
It's clear that you're unarmed. Oh, and you killed him? Cold, man. You're heartless.
I think that's the first civilian I've purposefully killed in this run.
You tried to kill Griffin earlier. He was just invulnerable.
I did.
I'm excited to see what we do here. Yes. Okay. Good.
That technically could have
Just
been a
a nice
little
clean-
quicker
nice
if I
clean
used a
one.
rocket, but it takes a long time.
Yeah, you need rockets better. I mean, you need rockets for another place more.
Yeah, I crosshair pushed that guard out of the way.
That's right. So this one was okay. Again, this is a load. No, this isn't. Yes, it is. Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff there I need to talk about. So first thing, load warp, yes. Second thing, I geo that so I can get farther into the wall. Third thing, that remote charge there is really important. If you watch really, really closely on your screen when I go to the next level, you'll see that the remote charge is still in midair there. So the reason that that's there, and the reason why that's so important, is because when you go through this here, the easy segmented runners don't have this problem because they're on easy, and it doesn't matter if the guards shoot them, but these elite guards kill you really quickly. So I can't
I would
afford...
say if there's anything, it's like it's not instantly, but pretty much.
Exactly, yeah. You can't let them aim at you, honestly. Like, you'll just die. So when I go through using the level warp, I actually go through ahead of this guy, so he turns and shoots me right away. But if I put that remote charge there in midair before I go through, the remote charge comes through to the next level with me and puts this elite guard into a fear state, so I can shoot his friend while he's afraid of me, and then he runs up and I have a chance to shoot him before he damages me.
Beautiful.
So he's afraid of me, and then I start shooting at him. I'm just gonna let this segment play because Duane wanted to see it.
Okay, so normally okay, so he's doing the thing where you jump through there. You kill the duders. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's how we did Capek. So
Wow.
I
Alright.
shot the one dude up on the thing next to where you need to go with the sniper before I closed the big door, and then I just went up onto the little thing and sniped the 3 guards. Then I also save loaded immediately after I killed the last elite because then Capek spawns quicker because it's a death animation skip.
He's their only hope.
Now, isn't there something interesting about Eos's face that like there's a texture from it that's something funny? I forget.
Yeah.
If you have hope,
Nick, you want to comment on that?
just don't understand.
I forgot.
Yet.
No, it's you said in the last commentary, and you're right that it's like they just like took a piece of a merc and shoved it on Eos's face.
Oh, well,
There's got
yeah.
to be a cure.
Simple
No, I thought there was an actual thing. I wasn't trying to meme. I thought it was like oh, it's like a
But how? How do
No,
you
it's just
thing.
this weird like visor thing that is like it looks like the face of one of the mercs.
Let's finish him and get out of here.
And you can shoot it off of her face as well, but if you do that impossible, she's gonna die. But yeah.
what happened? I mean, if you shoot out her face, does she still have a face there, or is it?
Help you.
No, she still has a face, yeah.
I always figured that was like some sort of cybernetic implant that like
No.
it was melded into her skull, not just like a cool Google Glass.
No, it's basically like it's basically just Google Glass.
Parker, you've got to get out.
And now her eye is clipping
One of
through
us
it.
has to live through this.
No, I'm not gonna leave.
No time to argue.
This is another, I'll just say real quick, this is another cutscene that you can't skip. Actually, even if I could, I can't because I need the rockets, but
Personnel have
Do you see that
60
jump?
seconds to evacuate.
Yeah, it was just a good
Sequence
bounce.
Initiated.
Tell people there's
Yes.
Is that a 30 FPS bounce?
That is actually not a 30 FPS bounce. It's just a really funny bounce.
Personnel
Saves
have 60
saves some time.
seconds to evacuate.
Go out the way I came in. I'm waiting outside for you. There's something you need to do for me.
And you can kind of see an illustration of how little health and armor you get on Impossible based on like how low my armor was just after picking up those armor packs.
All right, I'm excited for this part too.
Are you Parker? You
Good.
said that if she didn't come out, you would.
You apparently have some cool new
said to
rocket
give you
skip
this
method
computer disk. I
that
don't
I
know
have
why.
refused to watch until now.
We need to go to the far end
Yeah,
of the
well,
canyon.
okay, first off, there's a lot of, like, really precise sniper shots here. I basically snipe every guard in this canyon because otherwise they kill me while I'm doing the rocket skip. But I get into the Jeep before I do this, and I do that because I want the Jeep to go down the canyon, like, behind and next to me. Because then the guards further up shoot at the Jeep and not me.
Right, okay, so we're sniping. I stayed in the Jeep before in my run just because it was damage-wise. What, you're not going over here. What are you going over here for?
To bounce.
What is this? I don't like this. I don't like this one bit.
That was actually one of, like, 2 times in the run that I needed to stop to shoot people.
No way, you're not doing it over here.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it over here? This is so
way quicker.
dumb.
I'm
Yeah, I
also,
love
if
that.
you notice, I'm
Yeah, the
canceling the
canceling.
fire weight. Yeah, so I'm rapid firing rockets here and skipping reload. Now, that's all the rockets I could gather, which means that I need to do the rest of the tunnel with duplicated remote charges,
This is so dumb.
which I also
Whoa,
do
that was
rapid fire
chunky.
remote
What
charges.
kind of
Yeah, I know.
garbage is that?
I'm doing that because I'm skipping the time to take out the detonator.
Looks terrible.
Normally you can't detonate them that quickly.
Oh my god, that is so dumb.
Yeah. I'm actually not the one to discover that tunnel. I think I'm the first person to do it on Impossible, so I'm the first person that had to do it with that few rockets. But I think Homard was actually the one to find that tunnel.
And why are you continuing to dupe them now? Do we need them
Because
more
why not?
later?
We use some.
I mean,
but,
because the laws of conservation of matter, you are breaking them every time you do that.
There you go. So, you see this bounce here?
Terrorists don't care about laws.
Oh, boing! Yeah, there's the bounce.
Yeah,
Wait,
so-
wait, hold on. Are you calling Parker a terrorist?
Yes.
So I did a bounce, and then I fire a grenade, which puts those guards into a fear state. Same thing with that guard. Use a remote charge, put him into a fear state. I just wanted to pause to talk real quick about why I did that way. All of the guards in this area have stuff that triggers whenever you shoot them. Not even when they die, when you shoot them. But shooting them with a remote charge or putting them into a fear state with a grenade does not qualify as shooting them. So I can avoid a shitload of triggers that spawn more mercs by just making them afraid of me instead of killing them.
Is there a save there? Or just the sniper rifle seemed like they're shooting pretty quick?
No, you can fire that way.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I could have.
I'm
You
just
can
bad.
you can skip fire weights like that, but you don't need to. And that was your classic crosshair skip moment.
Yes! I was told, I was like, watch me manipulate this man with my aim. Or man or woman.
By his voice, I think it's a he.
I want to say that this was one of the great... I hope people don't misinterpret my joking. It's because it is just 100%. I think, being joking around, but... It is, I mean, this is like the first AAA game where the main antagonist was female, right?
No.
I don't know.
No, I'm just like...
Definitely
Hope
not.
this works.
Actually, wait, I just want to mention something here about
First
this thing.
video game ever with a female antagonist.
So
I'm
first
saying
off,
it right here.
there's another bounce here to save some time. Second off, I'm only killing the guards that I absolutely need to not die going up this, and I'm doing it all in one shot because I don't want to have to pause.
Over here! Help! Guards!
Again, cutscene at 30 FPS.
Sure hope this works.
That sweet floppy disk that's like embedded in his hand.
I like how that screen, if you pause it, he's like saying like, fuck this shit. Like, look. Oh, shit.
Wait, what?
Like, look, you can kind of see the text says like, fuck this and like, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
Do you see?
this is pretty sweet.
It's really funny. That's not a mod.
Oh
either.
my!
Like, that's in the
That's
game.
hilarious.
That
They
screen,
snuck that through.
That screen has to be like, 30 inches high.
Yeah.
It's a pretty non-standard monitor there.
Some annoyingly frustrating combat.
Yep. That was another fall damage cancellation there. Oh. I want to talk for a second about why I position myself that way. So when I'm going down here, there's actually a trigger in front of the airlock to open it. You don't even need to press your use key. Which means that I can go over into that corner, and as soon as the door closes, I can press my use key to close the door faster, so you get through the airlock like a second quicker.
And this is this is a very mechanically intense part. As you can see, he's moving forward and aiming and shooting at enemies.
Yep. Those heavies take 2 PR shots to the head.
You guys have such interesting lingo because you were, played in
Oh,
the
sorry,
game back in
precision
the day.
rifle. Yes. Now,
See, I
watch
say
this.
like the Merc gun.
Duane, watch this.
Okay, I'm watching. That's what I'm here for. Nice, beautiful, armor-piercing sniper rifle.
Yeah,
Through
we
the
talked
door.
about that in the last run, but I don't think you used it anywhere. But yeah, you can shoot dudes through walls with sniper rifles and rail drivers like you're about to see.
Code yellow alert. Intruder in tramway.
This is probably
system.
my favorite kill in the
Security
run.
Response level 3.
Oh, 3 for 1?
Yeah.
Alright, that was some crazy train stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, there's some crazy train shit coming up here. You don't actually need to step over there. I just did that so they didn't like come over and shoot me. I mean, before any of the crazy train stuff, I reload and I duplicate a bunch more remote charges because why not? There's nothing better to do when
Again,
you're in this train.
highly technical RF mechanics on display right now.
Yeah, I duplicate 6 remote charges here.
6 is the number of the beast.
Sure. Now there's another double rail shot coming up here. Like as I'm going down the thing, I double rail the 2 dudes here.
That sounds suggestive.
Yeah. Now, I only really did that, I'm just gonna pause here because there's a lot of stuff to talk about in a second, but I only did that, you can actually just stay in the corner in this entire part here when it stops at this little train station, and I think most of the runners did that. I know you did, but...
That's right, because I'm lazy.
The only reason I didn't, because you have like 8 or 9 seconds to work with here where nothing's happening, you're just kind of sitting in the corner. I figured, why not kill a bunch of dudes, get a free health pack. I got a health pack off one of those dudes I killed. And, subsequently, one of the dudes just happens to have 3 fusion rocket launcher shots. So I got a fusion for free because I couldn't do anything at that time anyway.
Sick.
Now, right here is where I use that fusion. So I kill this rail merc who really, really sucks. And then I glitch out of the train.
What? And why are you still moving so fast? What's happening?
Pretty sweet.
I'm not moving fast. This part here, and we got some time to talk about this. This part here, you're not actually going down a really long hallway. You're going down, you can see it when I turn around here, and you can see it a second ago there. It's repeating the exact same section repeatedly. So I can jump out of the tram and just kind of run down the hallway and be waiting for the train.
So the train is stuck in that little time loop.
Yeah. It's just kind of chilling there, and I'm just waiting for it to come down.
How did you get out of the train?
that, because I need to explain this thing in a sec, so I pause. But yeah, I got out of the train by just like jamming my face up against the outside wall in the opposite direction from the way you're moving, and save loading repeatedly. Important to note, that only works while the train is speeding up or slowing down. It doesn't work when the train's moving at a constant speed, because then your player is moving at the exact same speed, because in this game you inherit the velocity of a mover that you're on. But if the train is moving quicker, or if the train is accelerating and you are staying at the same speed, you can save load glitch through the wall. It only works like probably 50% of the time, but you can glitch out of the train that way. And the only real
Makes
benefit...
my brain hurt.
There you go. The only real benefit that gives you, because the door is closed up ahead anyway, so you can't actually progress in the game. The train catches up to you before you could actually walk up there. But if I let the train hit me here and I go up here, I can do a load warp. So I can get up to this door before the next level loads.
Wow, that's awesome.
And you can see here, like, when I get up here, I'm already aiming at that mark when it spawns.
HMG noob.
Code red alert. Intruder in missile command.
Nick's got some standard combat.
Which is
Trying
really
not
difficult.
Oh, let's say that too, because we haven't said it. For people that are unfamiliar with either Red Faction or the impossible difficulty, anytime you see an enemy with the rail driver, railgun, whatever,
Oh god.
you usually die.
Yeah.
Like if they shoot at you, usually it's a one-hit kill, and they have like a 90% accurate, a very high level of accuracy.
The problem is, yeah, it's a one-shot kill on every difficulty, and on impossible, it's probably like 80-90% accurate. So you have to kill rail driver dudes really, really quickly.
Otherwise, it's a real run killer.
Yes, it is.
Fool. I have to stop that launch or we'll all die.
This part sucked. I
Don't
probably
you have to kill that
spent...
dude.
No.
The guy's like, I have to stop that launcher. We'll all die. If he makes it to the console,
I know.
you lose the game.
But he says that while he's not moving.
Oh, is that just because of the way you save load? Because when I segmented there, however I segmented it, he was still running.
I know, I pause glitched him.
20 seconds.
This
until
part
missile.
here, basically everything from the end of that cutscene up until like right now, probably took the longest of everything in the run. Because that combat is some of the hardest ever, because you gotta kill like 7 dudes that are always firing. It took probably the most amount of segments.
3, 2.
I should probably explain that load
Right.
warp.
I mean, it's like it's the same thing as the other ones. Like,
It is.
You activated the train, so
And then there's a delay.
10 seconds.
So I can go in here. I don't actually need to kill these dudes, but they kill me if I don't. And I can just gather some ammo and some health and armor. And then you're in this giant train crash, and you're just moving immediately after it.
Yeah, something that might not be immediately obvious for the combat in this game is that, at least in the single player, all of the weapons fire projectiles that are fast moving. So whenever targets are moving, you have to lead them. Even if you're relatively close, you still have to lead a little bit.
yeah, they're not. What's the word? They're not hit scan.
Yeah, they're technically not. They actually do have a travel time.
Yeah, which makes... I know that there was a part later that I was going to see if you wanted to do, and you were having a lot of trouble with it because the weapon had a huge delay.
Yeah, it's extremely awkward. I feel like it's something they put in the game because they could, and not something that was actually good for it, but...
It seems that way, but we have to deal with it because of that decision that was made like 20 years ago.
Did you really go back here just to explain that you walk around a trigger?
No, because that's not actually what happens. You actually go through the trigger.
Okay, cool.
The reason why I went back here is because right here, the direction that I'm pointing when I come around this, I'm pointing like behind that rock. That's important because guards spawn back there in a trigger that I just went through. But in this game, whenever guards would be unhidden, which is like spawning, it doesn't happen if you have line of sight to them. So I look at the place that I know that they're going to spawn, and they don't spawn, even though they're supposed to. So they don't shoot at me because of that. Exactly.
Are we in like a Discord? Like is it like the official THQ Discord or Red Faction Discord?
Well, it's Nordic now.
It's like, huh?
It's Nordic now because how's
Right.
that blind rail shot?
It was great. But isn't there a dev on there? We should bother him, make him.
Yeah,
give
but
us the
they
source
weren't.
code.
They, yeah, I would like that. They're not the developers of the original game though, so like.
I mean, the reason that would have been done is you have enemies showing up, like, out of nowhere. Like, you don't want to spawn enemies in the player's line of sight because they would appear out of nowhere.
And it would look silly.
They don't have any ghosts in this game, so...
Except for when Capek, man, he's pretty ghostly. He just disappears.
I mean, he's Capek, not Casper.
Well, Casper's friendly. Capek is not.
Yeah.
Capek is definitely not friendly. He hopes we all die.
He tells us directly. So not a lot of crazy tech going on, just the stuff you were explaining earlier, you know, abusing triggers and the spawning.
Yeah, there's a handful of times where I'm like running up on canyon walls to avoid triggers, and sometimes I'm like looking in specific areas and headshotting these dudes because I'm a pro.
420, blaze it. I mean, YOLO no scope 420.
Again, railed that dude. I avoided some fall damage because of the way I fell on that. And I got a double rail when I jumped down onto the conveyor belt.
And then, unfortunately, the one rail merc missed.
Yeah.
Jumped up over them.
Time to go to space, boys.
There was another, like, kind of cheeky bounce.
Do either of you know if the rail has a flight time in single player?
I don't know if the game pays attention to it, but there's one in the config file.
Because it might be possible to, like, you know, actually dodge rails. Yeah. You would have to know when it's going to shoot, though. You wouldn't be able to do it on action.
Nice shots at the nothing.
Yeah, I know. I thought the dude was gonna be there, and then he wasn't.
I'm still a little bitter.
Was.
You know, I never actually contributed to this run other than editing it.
You're bitter.
Yeah, well, I'm at myself.
Oh, hang on, I want to mention them. So in your run, you kind of took a second to get on that ladder so you didn't take damage. I ran into the ladder and bounced off of it, so I'm still, like, up in the air when I get on the ladder, so I don't lose time.
Yeah, look at me. I get it. You did everything better.
Over here!
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but I'm amazing, and you're not, so...
That's okay. That's why I didn't, you know, I was pretending to be lazy, but I just knew that I really couldn't help.
There you go. And this is another, like, fall damage skip by just landing on a ladder at the bottom.
Classic FPS style.
Yeah, those kind of things that every game does.
Except
Now, this part sucks, because I had to record from this point until the end of the space station all in one segment.
Why did you have to record from this point until the end of the space station all in one segment?
Because the timer got all screwed up if I didn't. The timer that's about to come on here.
The one that's on screen? Yeah.
Yeah. The timer got all messed up, and it started, like, gaining me time if I didn't. It was really, really weird.
And it looks bad. So you might as well just do it and make it cool.
Exactly. So I think, like, the second ladder, like the ladder coming up here in a second, I think I lose, like, a couple of milliseconds here because I get on the ladder a bit earlier than I need to, but, like, it doesn't really matter.
Can't see shit, Captain.
No, screen shaking. Another 30 FPS cutscene.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Detach.
Boom.
Bang.
Back to Mars.
Avoided a lot of fall damage by jumping in the water.
In this part, I mean, I'm assuming you can do a couple of things differently than mine just because you're better at it, but it's just a lot of weird triggers and weird enemies spawning in weird places depending on where you're looking.
And that giant bounce.
That was cool.
So the reason why I shot this fusion here is because there's a rail driver merc up there that was always killing me as soon as I bounced up. So I fired that and killed him, and then I 30 FPS bounced up here. And jumping up here instead of like going normally saves probably 10 seconds over the way that
30
like, it was done before.
FPS. 30 FPS bounce squad.
Yeah. Also avoided some fall damage there, but it doesn't really matter because I'm about to get my health reset anyway.
Oh, right, because we're coming up on the...
Part you get captured, which is a total Half-Life ripoff.
I remember I had to look that up after you guys were saying it was a Half-Life ripoff, and I was like, no way, this game came out before Half-Life. It didn't.
No, it didn't.
No, it definitely didn't.
Speaking of Half-Life, awesome. Good game. I don't know if you guys watching have played it, but if you haven't, you should.
Yes, you really should.
I don't know if you've heard of it. There's a third one coming out next year. Also,
No,
if
that's
you
next
haven't
week.
Heard.
I mean,
Oh, okay, cool.
let's hope that it's next year from whenever it is you're watching this video.
Evacuation notice. All companies.
And this is a
prepare
great
for
hallway
loading
that has
into
nothing in
evac
it.
Transports.
Yep, and you hit the button, then there's some gas, which apparently goes through your enviro suit, even though you're wearing a full suit that allows you to walk around the surface of Mars.
I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
Hey, buddy.
And this
Hey, did
sucks.
you just,
Over there.
when I did this, did I include like the fade in?
You were
Oh,
inside when
well,
they brought you in. All
The
bloody
thing
you.
is, I quick saved as soon
medics
as I
whipped you over
loaded,
and
which
cleaned you
skipped
up.
the actual fade. It's still like it doesn't save any
Don't
time,
bother.
but you just don't see the
It's
visual
gonna kill
fade.
us all anyway.
Okay, alright, whatever you say.
Something big is happening. Lots of mercs running around.
I am
moving
agreeing
stuff.
with this miner here.
Don't know what it is, but I
You're
bet.
going, what? Yeah, red faction, wow!
Some emergent gameplay.
Yeah. Wait, where'd that go? Oh yeah, you're canceling stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Evacuation notice.
you mentioned earlier, Nick, that Parker's a terrorist. Well, and
Yeah.
actually now I believe that because he just killed his friend.
So just rewind here first. So this part right here, I think you grabbed the PR first, but it's way quicker to just jump out and grab the turret. And then I grabbed this PR, and I had to shoot all these merc. And I had to kill that specific merc with the flamethrower, because I need that to pop Masako's shield at the end. Another load warp here.
One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, Nick.
Dodge that rail, because I'm amazing.
Evacuation notice. E company should not. Perimeter compromised. Battalion.
Not a lot to say here, just a bunch of combat. There's a load warp coming up here. I press that, and then
I swear it was like I tried that and it just never did anything.
Main power
Or maybe I'm just so
shutdown.
dumb that I never tried
Generator on
to send an
line.
elevator up and not getting into
Generator
it.
facility. Red alert. Generator
So this
facility
part here, just to
compromised.
explain what's going on, like after you press that button, you've got like, I think it's like 29 seconds where you've got to wait until Hendrix comes up and opens this door for you. So I rail these guards here. It only looks like I'm railing 2, but there's actually 2 guards lined up on each one of those rails. And this,
You're straight murdering.
yeah, and this part that I come up to here, I'm kind of just looking at this wall, because Hendrix goes up to the door, and then these 2 mercs on the other side of the wall spawn. And then I kill them. There you go. And I do that for 2 reasons. One, because it's quicker. And 2, well, I cannot do it for 2 reasons, but it's quicker, and also I save immediately after I shoot and then load, which skips their death animation. So Hendrix opens the next door by the time that I go out there.
Just waiting on Hendrix. There he is. Okay.
Hold your ground.
Later.
I murdered Hendrix.
Evacuation notice. B
Am I
company
dumb
will
because
now
I
be
just
in
realized that
evac
that's a
transports.
reference to Jimi Hendrix?
Saves us some crying.
Fan out and secure
Yeah.
the hangar.
It saves us some amazing dialogue where Hendrix gets set on fire.
He's in the ventilation system. Flush him out.
Rail that guard, or that merc, because otherwise he rails me.
Death to miners.
Oh man, we're getting near the end here.
This is getting good.
Yeah. I shot that guy in the foot repeatedly.
And everybody knows if you get your foot shot a bunch, you just die.
Pretty much.
Very important to take out the flamethrower here, because I need it as soon as the ship dies. Also, right there, if you move backward, you can actually get the ship faster.
Evacuation
That's why I
notice.
kind of go out that way.
So now it's just another thing of navigating these corridors with the garbage.
Yeah, the Azera really sucks.
Oh, zero movement. And trying not to get hit too much by stuff, but
Yeah, the rail
really
takes
not
like
that big.
300 damage off. It's important not to get hit by rails. I don't really care about anything else. But
It's a
getting
shame that
hit
the
by
door
rails
doesn't
sucks.
open fast enough so you bump into it.
Yeah.
nice fusion to the base.
Yep. Don't care. That's the first one I actually had to kill.
Alright, here we go. Final boss room.
Yep, so a couple things going on here. I shoot these two dudes, and then I immediately start firing at hers,
Maybe I'll pay a
which
visit to your
after she
parents when I
spawns
get
means
back
that
to
she has
Earth.
less life that I need to take off.
There won't even be a body for them to sob over. You and the rest of the scum will be vaporized in the blast.
Yeah, what? Alright, go back. I'm gonna need like some frame by frame
You
explanation,
and the
because
rest of the scum will be vaporized
that looked
in
pretty
the blast.
shady.
Okay, so first thing. Okay, so if I go back here, I'm not sure if you can actually see this, but the stream can. So right when her fighter dies, you can see it right there. Right when her fighter dies, I get put out into just normal Parker. If I am just holding down the flamethrower as I get out of that, it fires the flamethrower up here, which for some reason pops her nano shield way the fuck over there. I have no idea why. And then I just rail her in midair and save immediately and skip her death animation so that I can press the button that's behind me.
Pretty sick.
Awesome. It looks so good, dude.
And then I kill
30
Eos
seconds
because why
until
not?
detonation.
She didn't do anything anyway.
Nope. And this is completely random.
This is the fastest you could do it? Come on.
That is the fastest anybody in any of the runs that have been published have done it.
Oh, well, excuse me.
It's-
We've got
it's-
Mr. Yeah, I'm just giving you a guff.
Yeah. That sucks. I really absolutely hate just completely random elements in games. But yeah, the ending of this game is 100% random, and it's a stupid like bomb code thing, and that's the quickest I could get it, and that was good enough because it took me probably 60 segments to get it that quick.
60 attempts.
Or sorry, yeah, 60 attempts. I'm just gonna turn down my volume a little bit because this music's loud. But yeah, so this is just a little montage at the end, and yeah, the run's over.
Alright, I'm going to
Here's the
read these
stat.
statistics out for everybody. Alright, final time 49 minutes, 45 seconds, 0.917. Anyway, you can read this stuff. I'm not going to read this all out. This is all dumb. Everything he did was dumb. This run is dumb. I can't believe that the stuff that Goober found and other people found, Homard, who else found stuff? I don't remember.
A bunch of people. Homard found
Tons
some
of
shit.
people.
You found some shit. Some of the earlier runners found some shit. Surrealistic Infinity also found some shit.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions on the RF Speedrun community Discord around this run and like helping each other and that kind of stuff. So this is kind of like the culmination of basically everybody's input. And
much thanks to those guys. Like for me personally, I don't hang out on the Discord much because I am too lazy to type to people to talk. I'd way rather just talk. So I don't spend a whole lot of time on there. But all those people, everybody across the world on that Discord, thank you. Because without, like you said, all those people's help was... Everybody came together. Every little bit of stuff from here and there.
Yeah, I was really happy actually with all the cooperation, and basically everyone there was awesome. So shout out to those guys. If you're at all interested in RF speedrunning, I encourage you to join our Discord. There will be a link down in the description for this. I'm just gonna play this and just watch the rest of it. So there's a little thing here that shows like the 2 people that were involved in this run, and their
69.
Nice. And
Video
here's
editing,
our
Dwayne
credit.
Jones. That's me. That's right. Special
also get
thanks,
special
Dwayne
thanks.
Jones. That's me. And a previous run. Thank you, Dwayne Jones. That's me.
I think you're the
my
only
name
person
is-
that's on every one of those.
Well, when you're awesome, when you're 30 years old, unemployed, you live with your father, and your best friend is a cat. Life can be tough, people.
Life can be tough. Speedrun more.
Sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Later.
Yeah. Thank you for watching.
See ya.